Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video. This is episode 2 of my Q&A series. Last video, the first episode, the audience retention was amazing on that video. On average, you guys watch over 3 minutes of that episode. So everyone watching on average watched 3 minutes, which is amazing. That's one of the best audience retentions I have ever had on a video. You watched 3 minutes, that is great. So today, I hope you enjoy episode 2 of the Q&A series. I loved recording episode 1, so check that if you want to watch it. But today, 3 new questions, and we're starting off with a question from a subscriber. If you want to ask another question, just comment on this video any question, and I'd love to answer it in episode 3. So, John O'Donnell says, do you like the team of Big Show and Mark Henry, and should they get the tag titles? First question is, do you like the team of Big Show and Mark Henry? Sort of. It's a yes and a no. So, from the matches I have seen between Big Show and Mark Henry, I have liked them. I think my favourite match is where they faced Luke Harper and Eric Rowan on Monday Night Raw a week ago. It wasn't this week's Monday Night Raw, it was the week before. It was the opening match of Monday Night Raw that week, and it was really entertaining. Just the problem I have is, Big Show and Mark Henry are 2 big guys, so putting them together sort of makes sense. It sort of makes for a big climatic tag team, impactful. It's a decent idea, but I feel like they should be doing a job by putting younger guys over. I feel like putting 2 older guys together is kind of wasting them a bit. You've got guys like Cesaro, Big E, Rusev walking around, and they could really do with a feud against Big Show and Mark Henry to put them over. Now, they are heading towards a Mark Henry versus Rusev feud at possibly Night of Champions, but I feel like having Big Show and Mark Henry is wasting them. I feel like if they were separate, they could be used in a great way. They could be utilized in a great way to put over young talent in that mid-card. Having them in a tag team is a bit of a waste, and really, they're not really going to go anywhere in the end. They're never going to win the tag team titles. They're pretty much there to use them. They're adding more star power to the tag team division. But I feel like they'd be utilized more if they were separate. And honestly, bringing them together never really made any sense at all. I mean, they both returned at the same kind of time, and for some reason, they decided to tag them up together. And it felt like a bit of a last-minute thing. We'll put Big Show and Mark Henry together in this match. It'll be fine. And then they've kind of kept with it. I feel like they should be doing some singles competition. They're both world champions, and they could put over young, single, mid-card competitors on their own very well. They've just been a bit wasted in their tag team, and this tag team, in the end, never made sense in the first place, and isn't really going anywhere in the end. So no, they shouldn't get the tag team titles. Do I like the team? They have had some entertaining matches, but I feel like they'd be better as singles competitors. I can't really take them as seriously as when they're singles competitors when they're a tag team. I just don't like the idea. I feel like they're much better single competitors. As a tag team, nah. And also, I don't like them as baby faces. I feel like big tough guys like Mark Henry, Big Show, your Brock Lesnar's, suit the heel persona a lot better than a babyface in my opinion, so I'm not a huge fan of the babyface tag team as well, so both of them questions, I'll say no. The next question comes from Matthew Keeler, and he says, if you had to choose a legitimate contender to face Brock Lesnar, someone who left or a present superstar, who would it be? Now, I haven't answered this before, but my all-time favourite match is Brock versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19. I'd love to see Kurt Angle return to face Brock Lesnar in a WrestleMania main event for one more time. There has been rumours that Kurt Angle could possibly come back just for one more little run in the WWE, and I think it would be so freaking good. I would mark out if we saw Brock versus Kurt Angle in a WrestleMania main event one more time. And imagine if it was for the WWE Championship again in the main event, a returning Kurt Angle. 2 great guys who have an amazing amateur wrestling background. You know the story. And also, they just put on great matches together. They have great chemistry. It would be great. I think Brock's best ever opponent was Kurt Angle, and I'd love to see that again. And it'd feel like a legitimate contender. But when I'm thinking about a present superstar for being a legitimate contender, I can only really think of 2 guys, and they're really not that a legitimate contender to beat Brock Lesnar. I mean, somebody who beats the guy who broke the streak and squashed John Cena at SummerSlam, he really needs to be legitimate. And I really couldn't think of anybody on the present roster. Kurt Angle did come to my mind as someone who left. Only 2 real guys that came to my mind were Cesaro and Roman Reigns. Now, Cesaro, wow. I mean, he needs a win like that to really elevate his career. We all know he's got it in him. We all know he's that main event guy. We all know he's a world champion. He's got it in him. He's literally got everything. He's had so many years of experience in the wrestling scene. He's really got everything. He's so entertaining. He's had awesome main event matches on Raw against the likes of Cena. He's got it all. He has got it all. And a win against Lesnar would make his career. And I feel like he really would be a legitimate champion to beat Brock Lesnar. He's got the look. He's got the physique. You know that if he beat Brock Lesnar, it'd feel legitimate. And he'd feel like a champion. He looks like a champion. And he presents himself like a champion. Roman Reigns, if he is dubbed as the next guy, if he wants to be the next guy, and they feel like he's the next John Cena, then he has to beat Brock Lesnar. The thing that John Cena couldn't do. He needs to do what John Cena couldn't do to prove that he is the next John Cena, or better, he needs to beat Brock for that championship, the thing John Cena couldn't do. And that's another thing that could elevate Roman Reigns' career, a top main event win for the title against Brock Lesnar. We all know Roman Reigns, it's maybe a year until he becomes champion. Obviously, he's got to beat Brock Lesnar to do that, and I feel like he is a proper legitimate contender to do that. Like Cesaro, he has the look, and also, a lot of people are behind this guy, and we all feel like he's been booked correctly. He has a lot of momentum, and it feels like he could actually beat Brock Lesnar for the title whenever that happens. Does that answer your question? Hopefully. George Starr asks, would you like to see Hulk Hogan have one last match in the WWE? No. And also, if so, who with? Simple answer, no. He's 61. I mean, do you remember when Brock Lesnar came out and ruined his birthday? I thought he was going to take an F5. That would have made the segment, and it didn't happen. This guy can't take a bump. He's way too old. He's way too fragile to take any sort of bump. Do you see this guy, a 61-year-old guy doing a leg drop? This guy can't do it. If my grandpa tried to do a leg drop, he'd break his leg. That would put him in pain. People feel like just because Hulk Hogan's persona is this big Superman powerful guy, that he can do one last match. He can't. I'm no expert on this, but he can't. I wouldn't want to see it either. It would just be horrific and also taint his career. I feel like he's had such a great career, and for him to come back for one last match and leave a bad taste in our mouth with a disappointing match, I feel like it'd be way too overhyped and in the end fall flat on its face and be disappointing. It just wouldn't be good. And it'd be at a WrestleMania. Would you want to see a crap match for Hulk Hogan at a WrestleMania? It would just be so disappointing, and it'd be on a huge stage. It would make it even more disappointing. Now, I'd still like to answer the question, if so, who with? There's really only one guy, John Cena. I mean, he's the guy that's been the Hulk Hogan of our generation, the PG era, so it'd have to be Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan versus Cena? Not sure if I want to see that. One thing I would like to see, though, would be Hulk Hogan teaming up with John Cena against 2 other guys. Now, I don't know who them 2 other guys would be. I would like to see John versus Hulk Hogan. I just don't feel like you would be disappointed. The point with, if they teamed him up with John, John could carry the match, but you'd also get Hulkster in there for a little bit. I just feel like people want to see Hulk versus in a match once more. I just don't see it happening. What other 60-year-old is still wrestling at his age? Ridiculous. It's never going to happen. It really is never going to happen. I don't see it at all. He's way too old, way too fragile. He's had such a great career, and for him to come back and have a disappointing match like that would suck. Did you see Undertaker at WrestleMania 30? I mean, he's only really past his 40s, and he had a great match against Punk at WrestleMania 29, but a year later, he could hardly go up against Brock Lesnar. I mean, he was so unfit. Imagine Hulk Hogan trying to do one more match after so many years out of it. He's 20 years older than Taker against somebody like John Cena, who's really fit and physical. He just couldn't do it. Hopefully that answers your question. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, spike your hair. Ask me more questions as well. Bye bye.